This week, we're going to review the 2016 horror film Incarnate. Let's check it out. Welcome to another episode of Strange Planet NYC Horror and Coffee Edition. It's a movie review. If you like what you see here, please consider subscribing. Tap on the bell below for future notifications after you subscribe for future Strange Planet and Horror and Coffee content. Whew, that took a lot. The movie we're talking about is Incarnate. It's a 2016 horror film directed by Brad Peyton, and it stars Aaron Eckhart, who is well known for his role in The Dark Knight, if you know who I'm talking about. He plays this tragic character named Dr. Seth Ember, who, after a family tragedy, has gone to look for the particular source of the tragedy, in this case, a demon. You know, when I first heard of this movie, when I first saw the ad for it, before I pressed play on the streaming service, I was skimming through it, I came across it, I said, oh snap, I'm going to check this one out. It gave me the impression that it was a demon possession movie, like many other demon possession movies I've seen. And it is, but it also isn't. It takes it in a different direction. The whole idea of demon possession and how to get rid of demons, or in the case of Dr. Seth, he likes to call them evictions. Like they didn't pay the rent or something. Yeah, it's a very different concept from what we're familiar with in other demon possession movies. I mean, it seems to still be a demon per se, but this movie goes at strong lengths to make clear through the main character that it's not about the Christian Judeo perspective of demonology, but it's an open-ended thing to all religions. And in the case of him, it wasn't that he was a priest or that he was trying to use the Latin rite ritual of exorcism to get rid of the demon like we see in other films. No, he uses science. He uses brainwaves. He connects himself to the possessed through the subconscious, using these neuron receptors, on his head, and he has a team of other people working to aid him through the process where he goes into the subconscious of the possessed, and he always finds them in a place where they think they're safe, where they feel that they're living the life that they've always wanted, or, that all their dreams have come true. Everything seems fine there. They're actually not fine. And he tries to, get them out of there, because what happens is that if the demon stays long enough, the person eventually dies, the real person. And the demon makes a permanent residence from within, unless something happens to that body and the demon has to, find another host. Yeah, it was such a weird thing. When I saw this early on, I was like, you know what? There's a reason why I didn't hear of this movie before. And if I have heard of it, it was so in passing, and I don't know why I didn't watch this in the theater when it came out. Back in 2016, must have been one of those films I must have missed. And I really had to start thinking out of the box when I was watching this film. First of all, there's going to be a lot of spoilers, so if you don't want to know what happens in this movie, come back. Stop now, come back, and, we'll talk then. So what I was saying is that I had to unlearn what I've learned regarding demon possession, the process of it, how exorcisms work, because it comes from more of a Catholic perspective. A lot of movies do it from that way. So I had to put it pretty much in a box, right? And be like, okay, I really need to forget everything I've learned and start with a clean slate, put it in this box. I'm out. Let me just put it over here. I don't want to, okay, clear mind. Have an open mind, Ralph. I really did. It was bad. It was like, wow, man, dang. But it was also interesting. The movie, I don't think was a great movie. It really wasn't a horror movie. It gave me one quick jump scare in the very beginning. And then after that, it was kind of like, ugh. And what's funny is it's a Blumhouse movie. I guess it goes to show that even Blumhouse can put out movies that aren't that great. They're known for putting out really good ones, but not in this case. So Dr. Seth comes across the case of a young boy, an 11, 12-year-old boy named Cameron, who is apparently possessed. And you see how that happens to him early on in the film. You know, he's sitting in the middle of a room. His mother doesn't know what's going on. If you see the mom, I believe it was Carice or something like that. If you see her, you know her as that Red Witch from Game of Thrones. So if you saw Game of Thrones and you see this, you'll recognize her pretty much really quick. So she seeks out help, and the Vatican sends this other lady to go ask Dr. Seth for his help because she knew that this particular entity was too powerful even for regular Catholic exorcists to be able to deal with. You know, and you see that in the film. It's like, good luck. You know, I was like, dag. You also see the story of the abuse between the boy Cameron and his dad, who allegedly broke his arm. You see, you know, the mom had divorced him and had split away from him because he was abusive and he was a drunk and he was, the classic, my dad is a loser kind of thing that you see in a lot of films, and the play and that desire inside that boy's mind, inside Cameron's mind to want to have had a better life with his father. Okay, because he done said he loved him. You could tell he did love him, no matter what he did. That reached out to me. It made me think of, wow, that nothing is like the love of a child and for a parent. That's a very forgiving spirit. I don't like the idea that this boy didn't do anything of his own free will to allow this to happen to him. I think what happens is, first of all, the movie's not scary to me. It's really not. It didn't really give me the jitters. It had a more of a science, psychological kind of thing. You know what it reminded me of, funny enough? The Cell. Remember The Cell with Jennifer Lopez all those years ago? That she went into the subconscious mind of a serial killer. And I forgot the reason why. I can't. Oh, yeah, to find out where his latest victim was. Before they caught him, they were trying to find her and they couldn't. And they figured if she could go into his mind, she had this ability to do that. They could do that. Same thing here, except it's not a serial killer; it's a possessed person. That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me more of The Cell than it did anything else. So I found that intriguing, and there was a certain level of creativity to this, which I do take off my hat for them for that. And I'm like, okay, it's not just your normal demon possession movie. Okay, those are fine and dandy, but this one took it at a different direction. And I think part of the reason why I didn't like it too much was because I couldn't get used to it. I had to really put away my bias, my own worldview regarding those things in order to be more open-minded to the plot of the movie, which played itself out. One of the biggest parts of this movie is that when they're possessed, you can't touch them. You cannot touch them, because if you even do this, the demon will jump to you. That's how the boy got possessed to begin with. It was the weirdest thing. And I'm like, wow. So how are you supposed to help this person? Well, it turns out that initially Dr. Seth had his own reasons for taking this case that went beyond the situation with the boy. He lost his family in a tragic accident years before that costed him also his ability to walk, which is why he's in the wheelchair the whole movie. He's not in the wheelchair in the dream sequences in the subconscious because that's in the mind, so he could do that. In this case, it seemed this entity that was possessing the boy was connected somehow to the tragic events that cost him his family's life. And he's been, I think, on a quest for revenge ever since. Now, think about that for a minute. If you know an entity was responsible for wiping out your family, a specific entity, you want to go out there and hunt them down like you're Charles Bronson or something, like Death Wish. I could see the grief driving a person to do that. I totally can not relate, but I can totally I get it. I get the concept, right, of justice being done. But when it comes to the spiritual realm, It's a different kind of ball game. And apparently he had this gift long before the tragic events of that time, and he was just withholding it. So he was, you see the man struggling. He's bitter, he's angry, he's more self-centered than anything else. Okay, there's no shred of holiness in him at all. He's not a priest, he's not anything. He's just this good doctor with a great gift. And with this great gift, he's been able to help other people. But throughout the course of him helping them, I think what he's been trying to do all this time was trying to find the original demon, which he calls Maggie, find and put an end to that demon. Because apparently in the movie they said that if the demon can't find another host, it dies. Right there, that's when they lost me. I was like, spirits can't die. Well, by the end of the movie, the deed is done. And there was at one point in the film where you think you started thinking for a minute that and they did a good job at doing this. They made it look like that Dr. Seth was dreaming this whole thing in his head and his family was fine. But that wasn't it. It was that the demon got into him at the end. The boy got set free, but then he became a captive to it. And he was trying to prevent that. And when you see what happens at the very end of the movie, it was kind of like, okay, did he survive? Did he not survive? What's going on? Like, it kept you at a balance, like wondering, okay, did the demon get him or not? At the end of the movie, you kind of like see what really happens, and you're like, dang, this is crazy. And it ends in a cliffhanger of sorts, but you kind of know what happened. And for a Blumhouse horror film, it was produced well. It was shot well. The story was unique. The acting was good. I can't say it wasn't. Actually, I saw Mark Henry, a WWE pro wrestler, did a real quick cameo as a bouncer early on in the film. There was nothing really wow about it. There was no wow factor. I wouldn't buy it to put, I got to get a copy of it on Blu-ray or 4K. No, I don't care for it. I really don't. So I saw it, and I'm done with it. So I'm going to give Incarnate 2 coffee cups. Because it really didn't hold me like that. It didn't grip me like that. I acknowledge its good production value, technically speaking. And I even acknowledge its unique storyline. But it was a storyline that did not grip me. Now, admittingly, I have to say some of this might have to do with my own worldview kind of still seeping in and saying, well, that's not how it works, which is not good for me because that doesn't make me very objective sometimes in my reviewing. However, I do know that I have given 2 coffee cups or less even to other demon possession movies that were in line with my worldview about those kind of things. And so maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. You could tell me in the comments below. The title is misleading. Like, what? They're not incarnating anything here. Incarnation is kind of deeper. Again, the title can mislead a person to think, well, is he the Antichrist or something? The devil incarnate? You could think that way about those kind of things. But then when you saw what happened, there wasn't really an incarnate anything. If anything, it was something subconscious. Like they should have called it something else. But it is what it is. This is another one for the books, people. So there it is, people. Incarnate, 2016 horror movie by Blumhouse Pictures and WWE Productions. What are your thoughts about it? Talk to me. Comment below and share with me what you think about this particular movie. This is Ralph Perez from Strange Planet. Don't forget to subscribe and tap on that bell. Horror and Coffee. Take care, guys, and stay safe. Keep those masks on when you're out and about.